Hello and welcome to Breakfast for Pancakes. I am your host, PK Sullivan. This week's video comes from a friend of mine. She is not a big home cook. She doesn't do the same sorts of cooking that I am, so she really wanted to know what I consider essential to a modern kitchen. What are the bare necessities that you need in order to cook effectively? That's what this video is today. Later, I will go into some of the nice to haves and even my just complete splurge items in separate videos for people who, like me, are inclined towards gadgets and new technology and tools. The first thing you're going to need to build out your kitchen is a couple of good knives. There are three kinds of knives that I think every house should have: a chef's knife, a paring knife, and a bread knife. The chef's knife is going to be your daily go-to workhorse. Traditional European styles look like this. We'll have a long back, a fairly thick spine, and then it will taper to a point at the end. You'll see this in a lot of kitchens, a lot of kitchen stores, on TV, that sort of thing. Great knives, but I have found I actually prefer this. Is a Santoku. It's a Japanese chef's knife. Came about sometime post-World War II. A couple of things that I like about it is it has a flatter edge. It doesn't taper as much. It allows me to do my rock chops in a way that feels better. I like the blade geometry better. It has these scallops here cut into it that supposedly helps with food releasing. I don't notice a big difference. I really like the weight of this knife better than my chef's knife. They're from the same company, they're from the same line from the same company, so they are very equivalent knives. I found I prefer Santoku. Other thing to keep in mind is how big of a knife do you need? This is a 7-inch Santoku and an 8-inch chef's knife. This is a smaller Santoku. I believe it's a 5-inch model. We got first, and my wife really liked it. So when I got a larger Santoku to sort of take over as my daily driver, my wife held on to this, and this is her primary knife. Size of the knife is going to depend on you and what you are comfortable with, what fits your hand nicely. A paring knife is a much smaller blade. It is meant for very fine, detail-oriented work. You can peel apples or oranges. You can do any number of very small work with these knives. I don't use a paring knife as much, but I still use it a lot, and it is an invaluable addition in my kitchen. So just make sure that whatever paring knife you get is going to be small, and that the blade itself is thin and able to be easily maneuverable while you're cooking. Third kind of knife is the bread knife. The bread knife doesn't work like any other knife in my kitchen. It's the only serrated knife I have. I like having one serrated knife. I like having it be my bread knife. The bread knife works because it has the serrations. You want to get one that has serrations that are reasonably far apart and also have nice defined points to the tines. Get a good one, it'll last you your whole life, and you'll be set. When it comes to buying knives, there are a couple of routes to go. You can buy a knife set, or you can buy knives piecemeal. If you are on a strict budget and only have like $75 to spend, I actually recommend buying a knife set. There is a set of KitchenAid knives that will include a chef's knife, a paring knife, a bread knife, and a number of other knives, including some pretty good steak knives, and it will last you a good long while. However, if you want to be more bespoke and intentional about it, go to some kitchen stores and handle some of the knives. Hold them, put them in a pinch grip, see if there are any hot spots, really sort of figure out what knife shape you like and what you want to work with, and buy those. A good chef's knife can run you $150 to $200, but you don't have to spend that much. You can also find good ones that are much more reasonable in the $60 to $70 range. Paring knives, if you just want to get a cheap Victorinox paring knife, they work great and they're like 10 bucks. So that covers your knives. Thank you for watching. If you like what I'm doing here, please like and subscribe. hit those buttons down below, bell for notifications, all of that. I do have a Patreon. So if you would like to help me on my journey of better home cooking education, go ahead and follow the link in the show notes over to my Patreon. There are some great rewards there, and I'm really looking forward to building up a community of great home cooks. I'll see you next time.